Hi, I make a lot of Mario Kart DS videos, and the Nintendo DS is a pain to film. A few weeks ago, an alternate version of me made a video talking about these different methods to record in a more review kind of manner. However, this video is comparing these different methods with a proper comparison video. So I made a Mario Kart DS ROM that allows me to play back in ghost time, so we can see the same race on different recording methods. So look at the timestamps for each version in today's showdown, and let's get on with it. To start with, let's do the method I've been evolving over 5 years, the MelonDS emulator. This is the simplest way of doing it, however I am recording as I would a video. So I only have the emulator set to 3x scale, and I'm using version 0.9.5, like most of my videos. Version 1.0 just has a scale issue because I set my Windows UI to 125%, and the issue wasn't present in the old version, so I'm going to keep using 0.9.5 until this is fixed. The actual recording is done with OBS, using the same presets for my OBS recorded ones. But for the most part, it's 1080p 60 frames per second with 15,000 kilobits per second bitrate, the capital K lowercase b. But all that information gets crushed down in the edit and upload of this video. The recording is only just of the top screen, so I won't need to be zooming onto these clips. And that's about all I've really got to do. MelonDS is also set to render the 3D with the high times using OpenGL, whatever it is. It's just how I record my videos to make it look kinda nice. Next up is the new toy. It's a loopy capture card. I am also recording this on OBS with a similar layout with the top screen only. Annoyingly, the window size of the capture software doesn't scale with pixels. I think it's bilinear, so it's a bit blurry. But using OBS, I can just keep the application at 1x scale and scale it in OBS by setting it to point. I could also scale it in DaVinci Resolve by setting it to sharp. Why is this scaling type called a different name every single one? Paint.net, my image editing program, is called Nearest Neighbor. I don't know if this happened in the recording, but the audio can sometimes be a bit muffled. I don't know if that's because of the install or just a general issue with the capture card, but I can always fix it by plumbing in a headphone jack and recording from that onto the PC. I still haven't resolved the flickering issue on my laptop. I did find another version of the DS capture software called CC3DSFS, but it has a few other features and I think it actually does scale pixel perfectly. But this is just with a normal capture software from the site I got the capture card from. And now we're here for what I expect to be the worst one, the Nintendo DS TV Out. I do like the concept of this mod, and I think it's an amazing step, but for my use of it, the quality just stinks. This is also having to go through an AV to HDMI converter before going into my Elgato capture card. I'll share a picture of it after this run. And then I'm recording in OBS and fixing the scale to make it so it takes up the whole vertical space. For some reason, once I recorded it, I did notice that it's for some reason a bit wider than 4x3, so I don't know. I do wish this mod was a bit nicer quality because it would be so much cheaper way to get footage of the Nintendo DS. I'd love to get 1 or 2 more TV Out DS Lite so I can do some multiplayer things, but the quality is such a letdown. I have seen a post where it uses HDMI as the output, but there's no information if it makes the quality nice. I also don't even know what the quality is because it's definitely not the DS's normal resolution. Someone on my using this thing on the CRT short thinks it's 480i, but I have no idea how to tell despite being told how to check. Either way, it looks bad, but considering this is way cheaper than the loopy capture card, it could be good depending on your use of it. Next up is Emulator Round 2. This time we're giving up the OBS recording and using a HD recording of the DeSmuME emulator, complete with the model and texture upscaling that those videos that get way too many views use. While this race isn't too long, it did take up a lot of storage, but I think that's because I kinda just set the settings to max. Granted, I am cropping out the bottom screen, so the file size is definitely double what it should be. One thing I don't like about those videos and this particular recording is I don't like how the textures upscale, especially like the 3-2-1 at the start of the race. It just looks bad. You could call me a hypocrite for being okay with the upscaled model sizes in MelonDS, but I think smoothing the pixel art just makes it just look bad. I don't know how to explain it without sounding like a hypocrite, so maybe I just am. And lastly, we have a Nintendo DS dev unit, or capture unit. I forgot to ask, it's one of the blue boxes. As much as I would have loved to have gotten one, I don't think I would ever have the budget for one, let alone have it mailed to Australia. So thanks fellow Mario Kart DS modder Garhoogin for supplying this footage. But in terms of the quality, yeah, it's not that much better compared to the TV Out. I don't know what the exact model of this thing is, so I do wonder if this uses a feature that the TV Out mod is somehow based on. Also note that this was recorded with an AV to HDMI converter, but rather than going into a capture card like I did for the TV Out, this is actually going into a HDMI recording box. So the footage that was sent to me actually looked like this, but I put it back into 4x3 for viewing purposes in post. You've probably also noticed a large amount of screen tearing. And interestingly, the TV Out made the colours overall darker, whereas this appears to be a bit brighter, which will be a bit more apparent in the comparison soon. And considering that this is by far the most expensive option to record the Nintendo DS, I'll probably avoid it. When comparing these all playing at the same time, there isn't really anything to note. The TV Out's wider aspect ratio is way more on display here. But one thing that is strange is that as the race went on, I noticed the MelonDS emulator getting more and more out of sync, and was faster than the other recording methods. Meaning that by the end of the race, it finished 18 frames faster than the others. For some reason, the capture card also ended a frame slower than the TV Out and DeSmuME, but I'm gonna chalk that down to a recording issue. But with MelonDS, I think it's because the emulator runs at 60 frames per second, whereas a real Nintendo DS will actually run at 59.8261 frames per second. There is a setting in MelonDS 1.0 that changes the frame rate, so this is a fixable issue, but I was recording this like I do any video, and that was the point of the comparison. And that's the video. I only wanted to deal with these 5 as they are the ones I talked about in my video. I did skip the Wii U because I don't know how to inject a ROM or a save file into that, but maybe we can have a round 2 with the Wii U and other stupid recording methods, like hell, recording a phone emulator with a 3DS's 3D camera on a train in red sign and a glyph 3D. Comment what you'd like to see next time. Big thanks to channel members. Just for them, I aimed the camera at a DSML and record the same time trial, as well as for Garhoogin, who helps recording the dev kit part for me. If this video was of any use of you, I question why, but enjoy.